that did well in the major are somehow like all of a sudden the top dogs. Dota doesn't work like that anymore. Like there's no dominant region in Dota. I mean, other than China, of course.
Good. I was about to say, you better watch your tongue, boy.
Other than China, there's no like just primarily dominant region in Dota. I think DPC basically.
Your point?
DPC makes. Okay, what's wrong with you?
What is your point? You literally are going on this tirade.
All right, let me say. Okay. Team Spirit, they're good. Okay?
They're good.
They're not. That's not a joke of a team.
It's not free wins.
It's not free wins. I think the Enigma games. I think they're looking in their proper form after the wild cards and the games against Enigma were not completely one-sided. There was a chance for Team Spirit, I think, in both of the games. Not shellackings by any means. Stop smiling at me right now.
I mean, I see 2-0, I think shellacking, but I need to see all the standings. I want to see where we're at. It's just one day. It's not all been draws. We've had a few 2-0s here and there, and I want to know where we're all at after one day of the group stage. Evil Geniuses, Vici Gaming, PSG LGD, and Team Enigma are currently looking solid.
Slacks, what do you think about these standings?
I'm actually, you're not getting away with this. You did not have a point. There was no ending. You said Team Spirit was good. That's all you said. You said there's no...
I'm sorry, all the viewers out there that want to hear actual analysis. My point is, every region gaslights every single region.
If you say gaslight one more time,
I'm sitting there streaming,
I will pistol whip you.
And Europeans come into the chat and they say, "Oh, your MMR is less than mine because I'm European." And this is all bullshit. All of the regions are good. All of the regions are viable.
Yes.
We're not in the dark age of Dota anymore.
Yes.
Every single region can compete. Why are you smiling at this?
I'm enjoying my time. I'm happy to be here.
Of course. Do you hate CIS?
I don't hate CIS. I enjoy Team Spirit for sure.
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't know.
There's no but.
I enjoy Team Spirit for sure, and then that's it.
No, that's it. I enjoy CIS Dota. It's some of my
favorite.
Like
that's why you're here on this stream right now to see Spirit versus Vici. And let's see what else we have today on stream A. Of course, bear in mind we have 2 streams going on concurrently. Be sure to be squad streaming. On our stream, we got Spirit versus Vici to kick things off. After that, Liquid, and that's always fun to watch. Evil Geniuses versus Vici after that. And we will close the day with PSG LGD versus Liquid on this stream. But yeah, we got 2 streams elsewhere. We got Beast Ghost versus EG on stream B, so keep both the streams open. Keep the multi-twitching open. Keep the squad open, because this may be actually possibly the last day that we have 2 streams going on at the same time. We're going to finally start whittling down these teams until we only need one set of people to, cover it all.
Well, like I'm not getting back on a panel.
That's when we're going home.
This might be the last time. Is that why they gave us this panel? All 3 of us? Oh,
this is our swan song, my friends.
This is our send-off.
You are in the Black Swan makeup, which I appreciate. You're ready to go full nutcracker on this. I appreciate the ballet commitment.
Anyway, let's talk a bit about Vici. Okay, this team, absolute slugfest of a wild card that these guys went through. And I think in the previous major, we saw some teams go through the wild cards and then have great showings in the actual tournament. I should say actual tournament, because the wild cards are kind of a tournament of their own.
The playoffs, the group stage, the subsequent parts.
And Vici's looking great so far in the playoffs. They 2-0'd Team Liquid, which I think is a team that everybody thinks is going to do very well at this tournament. TNC Predator, they went 1-1. Both games were very hype, like 38, 40-minute games. Distance.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about Vici Gaming is, as I said yesterday, they're not afraid to play different heroes. A lot of guys in this meta right now are just spamming Snapfire Mars. They keep playing the same thing. Oh, a carry, it has to be TA, it has to be Medusa. Vici has thrown some real weird stuff out there. I believe a Faceless Void got picked up, which is not weird, but, it's like
that's Poyo-Yo's.
In that area, They seem very versatile. They can play the super meta heroes, but they have a lot of stuff in their pocket. And there's a lot of teams that are just continuously spitting out the same meta heroes. If I see Tiny lose one more game, I feel like I'm going to lose it. Like, it's not good. Stop. Adjust. And teams, Vici really seems to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, they can play all of the meta heroes. Like, the meta's in this kind of weird state where it seems like there's a lot that's viable. There's a lot that's first phase. Like, there's some games where Warlock gets completely ignored, and then other games where it's just first phase picked. And, I mean, you know, you could argue maybe it doesn't look that great. Morphling, same thing. First phase picked in some of these games. TA, sometimes Magnus goes through. And it does look like Vici's the sort of team that's like, yeah, whatever BS you guys want to pick in the meta, we're just going to pick it and play it better than you. We're going to be able to play any strategy. And I think Faceless Void is a super underrated here. I can't believe it's not... I feel like it should be some first phase pick ban hero. Have you tried killing that guy when he has the Ag Shard?
It's pretty rough, but I feel like Void, most teams consider it... He has to have someone else with him. Like, he has to have an Invoker for, you know, the Cataclysm. He has to have a Snapfire for, you know, the Ultimate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really the way that you have to play Void. I mean, you can play him kind of classically as a carry. As you said, it's very difficult to kill him, but I think it's just the damage. That's the issue, right? But I would like, on that note, to talk about Team Spirit, and what they're probably going to have trouble with in this series is that I feel like they play very well, but they are kind of lacking versatility in their picks. You're constantly seeing Tiny, who is just doing awful in this tournament right now. You're constantly seeing like the same meta stuff. At this point, everyone has a lot of practice. It's time to spice it up, and we haven't really seen too much spicing from Spirit, in my opinion.
They did in their previous series pick the Sven. So it looks like they might be...
Yeah, but that was a bad idea.
It was a bad idea, but it looks like they are going the direction that you're saying. They're at least trying, you know? They're trying, because we haven't seen Sven that much in this tournament. It's been mostly like...
We haven't seen Sven
Spectres,
that much
Ursas.
At all. I mean, after he got nerfed from that horrible patch, the Superman patch, I mean, I don't ever want to see his Sven again still, but you're right, though. They are doing some experimenting. It's just they're not being successful with it. Whereas Vici is doing a ton of experimenting. They're pulling stuff out of their pocket that you know they've been practicing. That's kind of...
Yeah, I think one good thing for me is, like, in the previous series, they first phase picked the Viper. I like...
Sure.
I think there's a difference between... You know, I'm comfortable last phase picking a Sven, which maybe is not so good of a hero. Doesn't matter. But there's a difference between also changing your openings. Because I think that even the teams that are picking very versatile sort of drafts, a lot of the time they're not picking versatile openings. It's always like the TA +1 Nyx Assassin.
Sure.
And it makes it very hard to draft against you as a team if your openings are like, well, I've never seen this before. Like, what's coming out with it? You see the Grimstroke, it's like you immediately think, okay, there's like probably going to be a Doom coming out, or if the TA is not banned, it's like, okay, they're going to pick some support plus the TA, like Nyx TA, something like that. But if somebody just pulls out like an insta-pick Viper, nobody else is doing that in this tournament, it's like, okay, what the hell do we pick? Like, can we pick the Bristleback? We can't pick the Bristle now. That's gone. Like, maybe the TA becomes really weird to pick because that's a counter to TA in the mid lane.
That's more advantageous if you have the flex potential in that opening phase, though. I think for the most part, are we seeing Viper be played mid these days? Unless if it's like a later phase one, I'm generally seeing it put in the offlane, at least in Eastern Europe and South America.
I think we're seeing some of the playoff teams looking at the group stage and thinking, you know, with this Viper pick in particular and some other heroes that are similar, like, come on, these guys have to be able to play the Viper mid. Like, their drafts would be so much easier if they can pick these heroes that flex and then also block like every single other hero from being picked. Like AA is another one of these heroes that does that, and everybody's playing it, even though it doesn't flex, because it doesn't matter. It's a 5 position, right? So you're okay with your 5 getting countered. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, and you've been hating on Tiny. Warrant, I'm with you. It's been weak, but at least Spirit will flex it. They'll give it mid. They'll give it 4 position. I think it's the 4 position that's mainly losing with it. Toronto, Tokyo, I think that the mid Tiny has a little bit more viability.
Right. I feel like the number one thing that teams are afraid of right now is like snowball potential. You're constantly seeing these brood bans. You're constantly seeing these TA bans, and they're really putting all this pressure on. We cannot lose in the first 10 minutes, or it's just going to get out of our control, which is like why we see AA as well. He's the same kind of thing. So it's really interesting to see how they're adapting to that now, because Tiny is that in a nutshell. You know, you do well, you rotate, you move, you make sure that they can't get back, and then you move in. We see that from Timbersaws, too. It's really interesting, just in the last, like, all these matches we play in the last 48 hours, how that meta's evolved. It's cool.
It's almost, I think there's, like, 2 metas that seem to be simultaneously growing. And there's, like, this idea of picking just late game scaling, Midas offlane, Doom,
Yeah.
TA mid, Morphling mid, and then there's also this meta of like Dragon Knight,